Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Did he stay as long at the reception as you wanted him to?
I don't know what time he left, Your Honor.
He didn't say goodbye?
No, ma'am.
He didn't say goodbye to you?
No.
Okay.
This is the plaintiff, Gloria McFerson. She says she hired the defendant to photograph her wedding, paid for specific things like a second photographer and an album, and the louse didn't deliver. That's right, he did about half the work she hired him for. She's furious he wrecked her perfect and special day and is suing him here and now for the $600 she's owed. This is the defendant, Aston Watson. He says the plaintiff was a raving lunatic on the day of her wedding, and anything he missed was all her fault. Besides, one of her major complaints was the people he took pictures of didn't look attractive. How's it his fault that the woman's guests are ugly? He's accused of missing the money shot.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Gloria McPherson, you are suing Aston Watson, your photographer at your wedding, for $600 that you want returned to you because, according to you, he didn't do his job, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and who's the gentleman with you? New hubby?
It's my husband, yes.
Okay. All right, that's where you should be, right next to her. All right. Talk to me. What happened?
Okay, we were planning our wedding, and I was shopping around for a photographer. So a friend of mine recommended me to Mr. Watson.
Had your friend used him?
She said he took pictures of her sister's graduation pictures,
Okay.
something like that. Yes. So she gave me his number, and he and I were texting back and forth, and then we went to see him. One of my daughter and myself went to see Mr. Watson, and we spoke about what we want. And
Did you have a contract with him?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see the contract?
Sure.
Do you have a copy of the contract?
No.
Why wouldn't you have a copy of the contract you're getting sued on?
Honestly, everything was going pretty well. And
No, but don't you keep copies of your contract?
in this case, I didn't. It was for a friend. Everything, the whole process was.
But you did a contract, right?
Yeah.
And then you threw it away?
Well, that's not the
Hold
It's not a
on.
contract.
I'm sorry.
I believe that's the invoice.
Was there a contract? Yes or no? Was there a contract?
No.
Okay, there was an email. So there's no actual contract that you signed, but there's an email.
He sent it as an email. to
Okay.
me.
There's an email that says, this is to confirm some of the terms of the agreement for you doing the photos for Gloria's wedding, July 25th between 10 and 2 for a total of $800. Where did you get that it was $900?
It's $900, Your Honor. We upgraded it to $900. I have to.
Do you have an email that upgrades it, and what's the upgrade? The invoice says $900. Why did the price change from $800 to $900?
Because they wanted more.
More what?
I'm not sure. It was be it more time.
Are you a businessman?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
It was more time.
Why did it change from $800 to $900?
I asked him how much to extend for a little longer.
To extend it,
An hour. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the answer
Yes,
I'm looking
ma'am.
for. All right, this is to confirm. Blah, blah, blah. Online gallery of photos with access for 2 months from which you will be able to download and or print. Good. Small album of photos. Exact size to be confirmed. Well, that's a little risky. Small album. My idea small may not be your idea small. I don't know how many, it should be how many pages and what size it should be. The point of having it in writing is to have specifics, folks, especially from your side, because otherwise he'll just give you an album that's this big and it has 10 pages, you know? 11 by 14 print of any photo, just one, okay. A second photographer. Pictures will be delivered on CD or USB. All right, so what happens? What goes wrong? By the way, did you guys pay him the full $900?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there's no question about that, right? Okay, so you get to your wedding day and what goes wrong?
Well, there was not a second photographer.
And you were expecting a second photographer
Yes,
because
ma'am.
that's what the email had said.
Yes.
All right, what happened with the second photographer?
He pretty much bailed out on me. He called out sick.
And he did not, well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
Mr. Watson did not say anything to me about, why the second photographer was not
Did you
there.
ever say anything to him
Yes,
about, hey,
never.
where's your partner?
No, ma'am.
Because it's your wedding and your head
Right,
is where it should be.
exactly.
How did you find out or realize, or what time did you find out or realize that there wasn't a second photographer?
After everything was over, he had left already from the reception.
Okay, so then he had left when?
I don't know what time he left. From where, because he was at the reception.
And did he stay as long at the reception as you wanted him to?
I don't know what time he left, Your Honor.
He didn't say goodbye?
No, ma'am.
He didn't say goodbye to you?
No.
Okay. So he leaves and he doesn't tell you what time he leaves. Did you say goodbye?
I definitely did. Not only did I say goodbye, but I left with the people of her church as well, and everybody stayed till the end. So I was there till the end, and I said goodbye. I shook his hand when we did the.
You're the last guy to leave?
With her group, yeah.
Okay. And all right, so there's a -1 photographer. That's pretty big. And then when it comes time to see the pictures, did you have any complaints about the actual pictures?
Not really. He took a lot of pictures, Your Honor, and I went through them. I wasn't satisfied, but it was a lot, so I picked some.
You weren't satisfied?
I weren't too satisfied with
Why
the
weren't you
quality of
satisfied?
the picture, because some of them. Can I show you an example?
Sure. Okay, there's some pictures that you gave me beforehand in court, to use in court. Oh, these are nice. That's beautiful. Aw. I just always love wedding pictures. I don't even know any of your people, and I'm sitting there. Aw, who's this? Who's that?
Oh, that's one of our daughters.
That's
my husband's daughter.
So pretty.
That's one of my daughters. Those are my daughters.
So pretty. Look at everybody. Okay, so what were your complaints about these? Did you have complaints about these?
No, ma'am, I did not.
These are the good ones. All right, show me the ones you have complaints about.
There's one right there. Okay,
Okay, what's wrong with this?
The way he took it, that was at the end, because it's a picture that I would like to put in a frame, and we're at the end of I didn't realize that.
How many pictures did you get?
It was, I think I count 703.
Okay, so when he strikes me as the kind of photographer, like all of them are, that instead of taking one picture and walking away, like my mother might have when there was film, that he takes a bunch of pictures. So are there other pictures that are better that are at that very spot that he
But
took?
this is the one that I like.
Really? Can I see the ones you don't like?
I didn't walk with.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What else went wrong, though? He didn't give you the album.
Right. That's our main reason to be here, Your Honor.
Okay. And how many times did you ask him for an album?
Several times. And one of the time he told me it was a typo error.
What was a typo?
The saying the small album that's on the paper.
Meaning what? What he should have put there instead was what?
He didn't say. He just said it is a typo error.
Meaning it shouldn't be small, or meaning you shouldn't get an album?
We shouldn't get an album.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
He said it was.
Okay. What's going on?
All right, that really wasn't an issue because the album, like, it's not a costly thing.
What's it cost you to make an album?
It could be anywhere from $60 to $600.
That's right. Yeah. So why does your email say a small album, which no one knows what that means? Why doesn't it say a 40-page maximum or a whatever? Why doesn't it say something so people know what they're buying?
You're right, Your Honor. Normally for
that shame on you though, because you're the person who's spending the money. But go ahead.
Normally for for weddings, it being a bigger wedding or so, I have a partner that I work with. We have an actual full 12-page contract. We go through everything in detail. But this is something I was doing for a friend. It was a small wedding.
Yeah, look at you. You're in court. So really, there's no reason for you to save yourself the 5 minutes it would take to be specific.
Completely agree.
You send an email, that's fine. But at least send an email and be specific. Because I can tell that if you had a contract, you also would have said small album. What is a small album to you?
If I'm correct, I'm not sure. I guess that email, if I'm correct, I believe your daughter wrote that. And
so what? Did you object to it, or did you say, yeah, that's what I want?
My daughter.
Oh, it could have been me. I know. We had a discussion.
Who is Diane?
Diane James.
Who's that?
That's my daughter.
So your daughter sends the email, and what is it that you say back? No, that's not our agreement?
No, I believe I confirmed it.
Okay, good. All right, so now, what is a small album?
Small album, I showed her, when we met in person, a hand gesture. It'll be about this. It was going to be about, I want to say, an 8 by 12 album.
How many pages?
I believe the minimum it comes with is 26.
So that was going to be it, the minimum?
No, it depends. Each page.
Doesn't it cost you more?
It's very small. It's maybe $2 a page or something like that. It's not a big thing at all.
Okay. So where is it?
Well, pretty much what happened was everything was fine. The wedding was complicated. At one point, one of the things they did complain about was us not being there on time. When we got there before the groom did, we were supposed to be there even earlier than that, but
of course
they didn't do, we were going to do the behind the scenes pictures and all that, of makeup being done and all that, but none of that occurred because it didn't occur at the church or whatever. But nonetheless, we got there.
Wait, I'm sorry. How are you going to do the behind the scenes if you're not behind the scenes? Well, didn't you know where stuff was happening? Most people don't put on their makeup at the church.
We were told to meet at the church, so I assumed
so you didn't have an address before.
Sometimes it happens there. The bride will come there and then get it done in the back room where she changes and all that stuff.
All right.
But for the most part, we got there early. They were behind. It was
Why didn't you provide an album?
At the time, I was going through a very rigorous training.
Of what?
It's for a job I'm currently working. I wish not to bring up.
Say it again?
It's for a job I'm working that I wish not to bring up.
Why?
They're not very... when it comes to media and the job, it's a city job, but it's...
All right, so go ahead.
I was going through that. It was very tough, very mentally, physically draining or whatever.
I know, sweetheart, but we're talking about July. The wedding was in July. So you had plenty of time to go ahead and do it. So what's the reason you didn't?
Pretty much it was...
Because if you keep saying how it's no big deal, it's no big deal. You're right. Drop and drag the 20 pictures they want or the 40 pictures they want into it. And you just ran. You could do it in a click. That
was even something we had an issue with. At one point, they wanted a certain amount of photos. And I was like... To do it that way, it would no longer be like a photo album, it'd be more like a yearbook. It would just be a whole bunch of blocky pictures. I was like, it tends to have some form of elegance, be it like 1 page per picture or 3, and it's done in a way where the layout's
I agree with you, but how many pictures did they want in the album?
At one point, it was, I know it was an enormous amount. The exact
what was the
number,
answer? Well, how many pictures? You keep track of nothing, and you didn't think this was going to go sour. Go ahead. How many pictures did you guys want in the album?
We choose at least 20 pictures for a small album.
That's it? 20 pictures?
Yeah.
Was that too many?
No.
Exactly.
I had to explain to them.
20 pictures is, you could put 1 picture on 2 pages because there's 26 pages, so I don't understand how that's too much.
I completely agree. It was more than that. I had to, that was one of the things.
Do you have an email traffic or text traffic that would prove that was a problem?
We do.
Because according to them, that was not a problem.
We did everything. We spoke on the phone. I had to, one of the first things before even doing the album is I had to explain to them that all these photos couldn't be done. I didn't told them,
They said they picked 20 pictures.
Pretty much it was a back and forth thing. It was one
Where's the back and forth? What's the back and forth? They picked 20 pictures. Where's the album?
I didn't produce the album. At one point, it became a form of harassment. We were speaking on the phone.
Harassment? Just produce the album and the harassment stops. I know how we can stop the harassment. Do your job, what you got paid for.
I agree. More so, while on the phone, it was just, the communication wasn't going anywhere. Like I said.
Why is there continued communication? How are you going to work in that sensitive job for the city if you can't follow an instruction? This was what you offered them. You charged them for it, then you didn't produce it. You didn't do your job.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, who's married or been married? Okay, brides ever satisfied with their wedding pictures?
Nope, never. We always look too fat.
Do you blame it on the photographer?
Sometimes, yeah. They have to do the right lighting.
Yeah, that's logical. Okay, what do you say?
Well, no, I was really happy with my wedding pictures.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Are married guys, are they ever happy, seriously?
Yeah, I think they are at times, once in a while, yeah.
What a wuss. Going inside the courtroom.
I mean, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know what benefit of the doubt I can give you. You didn't produce an album. The album is easy. You tell them, pick 40 pictures. They pick 40 pictures, you drop and drag, and then you have an album. Boom, you order it. But it costs you money. The album costs you money because it's part of the package you already collected. So you're the guy who's got to pay the $100 to Shutterfly or whatever it is that the album costs.
The money wasn't even an issue. Then what's
the deal? Why wouldn't you just do your job? You already didn't have the second photographer.
Even that was explained. The wedding was no more.
No, there's no explanation. You charge me for 2, you provide 2, or you charge me less. It doesn't cost the same to have 2 photographers as it does to have 1. You saved yourself the fee of the other photographer, and I should get the benefit of it if I'm the person who paid for it, okay? So no, it's not, it was explained. Yeah, okay, they're not gonna kill you, but yeah, they should get a benefit, and they should get a reduced fee over it. So you're already in hot water, and then you don't produce the album. Okay.
Your Honor,
you have all the pictures, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can take whatever money I'm going to order him to pay back to you, and you can go to Shutterfly and you can make your own album.
Thank you.
Shutterfly, I keep saying Shutterfly, but really there's 1,000 services that do this, right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now how is it that you've decided that you should get $600 back?
Because we decided, well, okay, he did some work. We like some pictures.
Yeah, but why do you think that you deserve so much as 2/3 of the fee back? Because you have 700 pictures of your wedding.
We have to pay to get the album.
Right, and I know what that costs because I do this all the time.
Well, we haven't gotten an album yet, but we have.
No, you deserve an album. The only thing I haven't done is go down there and beat him with this. You're right about the album, okay?
Oh,
so
no,
definitely what it costs to get an album, you should get back, clearly.
Yes,
and your trouble. You know, although that's fun, that's not trouble, picking the pictures and putting them in there.
But the reason for that is because Mr. Watson, we were communicating. He was doing fine. I don't know what happened in the end, but however, we were communicating. He doesn't answer text right away, but he would answer our phone call and so forth.
Get rid of this. I don't know why. Is this the one you had him blow up? No.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
blew it up.
No, that's what. Okay, the 11 by 14. That's what I chose.
He made this for you?
That's what he sent to the place, and they mailed to me.
How come you picked that picture? It's so awful.
They picked it.
No, I picked it, Your Honor.
You did?
My husband doesn't like it.
No, I don't like it either. He's right. Blow up one of the other ones. I saw some of them were great. Blow up one of the other ones.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, you don't look bad. That's why you picked it. He looks kind of goofy. Okay? This is not his best look.
No, it's not.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order you to return a portion of your fee, but not the amount they're asking for. I'm ordering you to return $300, which will aptly cover, because he did take a lot of pictures, and I'm sure you have more than enough to do an album and plenty to have a beautiful memory by. I'm ordering him to return $300 of your fee. That's my judgment.
Thank
Good luck,
you.
folks.
So the plaintiffs to collect on you. What's your thought coming out here?
I don't have any issues with it. At the end of the day, I did not produce the album. My reasons, I can say the harassment, the calls, the difficulty it gave me.
Your excuses, you mean? I mean, you got
ultimately, I have no problem. I can definitely, I can accept that.
And the second photographer that you almost made them pay for?
Well, one, they already received a 75% discount. I charge at minimum. For what they wanted, it would have been a $2,100 wedding. They only paid $900.
Was this your best work?
Huh? I believe so. I gave them some pretty good shots, especially for everything that they had going on. I think I did pretty good.
All right, head around the corner this way.
Yep.
With Officer McIntosh there. And, all right, so here come the newlyweds. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you feeling about the outcome of the case here?
I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
Very pretty for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
We deserve to get something back.
We can get an album for $300, a nice one.
Yeah, right. You're going to go ahead and do that,
and I have
right?
nothing bad to say about it. Yes.
You did a pretty good job on the pictures.
I wouldn't say pretty good job, but he could have done better. But what can I say?
How do you like being married?
It's great.
Yeah?
Yes.
How about you?
Oh, very good.
Smart guy. Smart guy. Harvey?
Okay, when you hire a photographer, you need to get really super specific as to what is expected. The more specific, the better. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Earlene Williams. She says she gave her landlord the proper notice when she moved out, left the apartment in perfect condition, and the guy's turned out to be a real louse because he won't return her security deposit. She is exercising her rights as a tenant and is suing him here and now for double her security for $3,000 and can't wait to see his face when he loses this lawsuit. This is the defendant, Kevin. He says he helped the plaintiff out when she lost her job, and to assist her, he lowered the rent until she got back on her feet. Unfortunately, she never gave him the full rent when she did get back on her feet, even though he told her numerous times she was underpaying him. So he deducted it out of her security, has every right to be made whole, and isn't going to be the one losing in court today. He's accused of holding on tight to money. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,000 for back rent.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff wants double her security because she says the defendant stole her money. But the defendant says he's helped her when she got fired, but she never made good. It's the case of double your displeasure.
Thank you, Douglas. Earlene Williams, you are suing your former landlord, Kevin. You've asked us not to mention your last name for $3,000, double your security deposit that, according to you, he wrongfully withheld. You have a counterclaim against her for $3,000, your statutory maximum. According to you, you're out $12,000 in decreased rent and late fees. Tell me what's going on.
I moved in the defendant's unit in 2004. Up until 2015, I was there for 11 years.
Wow. Okay.
So
did you two get along during that time?
Yes, we did. No problem.
Okay.
2008, I had to resign my job, so I let the defendant know that I wasn't working any longer. I couldn't afford the rent, so I sent him a 30-day notice. So he came over and he says, well, you've been a good tenant for the past 4 years. I haven't had any problems with you. I help you out and lower the rent for $850.
What did it used to be?
It was $1,000.
And then he lowered
went
it
down
to $850.
And
after you'd lived there how many years?
4 years.
Okay. And then you ended up living there 11 years?
Yes.
Okay. So your rent was $850 and did you ask him to lower your rent, or you were leaving? You gave him the 30-day notice. So you were going to leave back then. And then he said, all right, you know what? Stay here. You're a good tenant. I want to keep you. And he kept you another 7 years.
Exactly.
Okay. And so you decided you were going to leave.
2015.
Okay. And then you give him notice.
Sent him a notice.
Okay. And then you were going to leave when?
November the
Okay, so plenty
1st.
of notice. And then what happens? You're expecting to get your security deposit
Exactly.
back. All right, so you leave, and do you ever talk to him about, hey, where's my security deposit?
I talked to his wife. She said that she was going to talk to Kevin, didn't hear from them. So in January the 15th, I talked to an attorney, and I asked him to send them a letter, which he did, to, what's going on with the security deposit.
Well, how come you called an attorney and didn't call them?
I talked to them. Not to talk to him, because you can text him and he doesn't get back to you right away.
Okay.
So like I said, I talked to the wife. She's supposed to get back to me.
No, it's not like you didn't reach out to them. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of quick to go to an attorney. But so you went to an attorney, and what did the attorney tell you?
So he said, well, I'm going to send a letter to ask them what's going on with the security deposit, the $1,500, and they can get in contact with you. I didn't hear from them.
Really?
2 weeks went by. So when I went to small claims, that's when all the phone calls came in.
After you filed?
As soon as he got
After they got served with a lawsuit?
Exactly.
What happened? You had a nice relationship here for all this time. She's an 11-year tenant. What happened? You were nice. You know, you lowered the rent. Of course, you wouldn't do that if you thought you could get the $1,100 from another client. But you also, you know, sometimes you want to take less rent for a good tenant, you know, and it worked out for everybody. 11 years. What went wrong with the security deposit?
Almost everything that Erlene just said is the way I remember it. But there are a couple of key differences in what happened. When Erlene let me know that she'd lost her job and had to leave, okay, so that's all true, and I did offer to take less rent, but the understanding was that the security deposit would go towards the incremental difference.
Whose understanding was that?
So we had a conversation about it.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, when one thing led to another, and she didn't get back on her feet, I did not want to raise her rent. She was a single mom, and I believe that her daughter was in school at that time. And as you said, you know, sometimes it's better to have a tenant that you can rely on than take a chance with vacancy and everything else. So the rent never came back to where it was.
No, that's fine. I hear what you're saying, and then we all make, we're free to make whatever contracts we want. The contract you made was for $850. What I'm more interested in is you say that there was a conversation with her where the two of you had the understanding that this would eat up the security deposit. Watch this. Did you have that understanding?
Never.
Okay. Did he ever have that conversation with you? Why wouldn't you put that in writing? Because I think you're a nice landlord, but you also have to be, a meticulous landlord. Why wouldn't, if someone's giving up $1,500, don't you want to have that in writing so they don't claim the $1,500 all those years later?
Yes.
Right.
So can I?
And incidentally, when a guy lowers your rent from $1,000 to $850, and you pay substantially less than what the market value is, how do you live with yourself that you then come to court and sue him over it when, according to him, the guy basically put in your pocket $12,000?
Easy.
Just think about it. All right.
So can I expand on that a little bit? Because
Yeah.
it's a fair question, and I should have documented all this. I've been a property owner, not just in Atlantic City, but of other properties for about 15 years. This is one of the first properties I bought. I err on the side of being this way, and it is a mistake, and I guess I'm learning a lesson right now, but I'm a really chill landlord.
Very chill.
I don't build cases against my tenants. I've never been taken to court. I've never had a dispute with a tenant.
That's the thing that people have to understand. They say, well, I loaned my brother $1,000. I didn't put it in writing, it's my brother. No, the last guy you want to have a problem with is your brother. So if you should ever put it in writing, it's when you loan your brother $1,000. So putting it in writing is not confrontational. It's the absence. It's wanting to not have confrontation. That's why you put things in writing, so you don't have to end up here. But I believe every word you're saying when you say that you just. But okay, so you wanted me to hear from.
Could I clarify a couple more points? So. The chain of events that Erlene described is correct, but there are a couple of things that happened after the attorney letter came. We missed each other. We played a little bit of phone tag. We did finally connect, and here's what happened. So I said, I was a little bit, hurt, to be honest, that she was suing me. And I said, really, Erlene, after everything? I mean, So I made an offer for part of her security deposit, even though she'd racked up and this is a technical violation. I didn't attempt to collect any of this, but she'd racked up thousands of dollars in late payments. On the call, I said, okay, how about a third of it? She said, no, that's not going to make me happy. I said, well, Erlene, Atlantic City is really far from me if this ends up in court. And I don't want to be in a he said, she said with you. So what would make you happy? And she said the whole security deposit. So I did offer, a partial return of her security deposit, even though I dispute that she was owed that. I had no intention of ever pursuing her for late fees or back rent, by the way. But until all this happened, I was very surprised that it played out like this. I attempted to contact her lawyer, at least a dozen times. I wrote him emails. I called him. I even called from different numbers because I was afraid he would recognize the number and not pick up. I think the reality is she probably paid for a consult, and because, I mean, there's not that much money at stake, and he wouldn't take my calls.
Did you actually pay for a consult?
No.
How did you get this lawyer? That's free.
This is a prepaid legal. You pay
Prepaid legal.
$10.
Yeah, he should be answering calls, though.
Yeah.
It's prepaid. You prepaid for him to answer a call.
I even had an attorney who was a friend try to contact him, and he didn't respond to him.
Okay.
So then it ends up.
So
getting
here's where
filed.
we
then
are
the court
now.
Case gets filed.
Okay.
Then I called her and offered her entire security deposit back.
The $1,500.
100% of it. She said, no, I want $3,000. Then she offered $2,500. And at that point, I said, well, this doesn't actually feel fair.
I understand. Doesn't feel fair. I deal in whether it's legal or not legal. I often am in a position where I can bend, and I can look at something and say whether or not something is outside the scope of the industry standards or outside, and then sometimes not. Let's talk about this one, but before I do, I want to talk to the two people here if they're witnesses. So call your first witness would be, did he call you for advice on how to handle the lowering of the rent?
Yes, he did. I'm actually chill number 2.
Oh, Lord. Thing 1 and thing 2. Okay, thing 2, tell me about it.
I probably started this down the path it went down. So I remember getting the call, Judge, because at the time my son just had a great breakout game. He was a college lacrosse player. And he called me, and I was more interested in telling him about the game than I was wanting to listen to his problem. So anyway, as we got into it and he started letting me know what was going on, I basically said, well, Kevin, because I had property then, and I did some of the same types of stuff.
So what did you tell him?
I said, it's what I would do. I think the best thing to do is, lower the rent if it makes sense to you, and then work the difference off through the deposit.
Okay, so you told him that he should work out, explain to her that she'd be eating up the deposit little by little.
Correct.
And then he could decide whether to keep the rent down or not keep the rent down. Did you ever suggest to him that it might be good to get that in writing?
No, I probably.
Okay, don't call him next time, okay? Because he is chill number 2.
More detail.
All right, who's that young man over there?
This is Brent. One thing to interject. This is Brent Butler. One thing to interject is, it's absolutely true that I don't like to have vacancy, and I work in Manhattan, which is 2.5, 3 hours away. But what's also true is that the market rent is significantly higher.
I don't care.
Okay.
See, here's the thing.
Okay.
You can make a decision, and it's a good decision for you financially. You're far. She's a good tenant. It worked out. You had a tenant for 11 years without having to re-rent it. Oh, that's fine. I don't care to look back in history and insist there be a contract that there wasn't. I'm not going to do that. So I can tell you right now, you're $10,050 over the decreased rent, unless the agreement was you're going to owe me the rest of that rent later, which of course we all know it wasn't, because you admit that wasn't it. Why would you ever be entitled for me to impose a contract that never existed because it should have? No, the contract that exists is the one that you negotiate for, and there is no other contract. What is the young man?
I didn't even give the background a thought.
I don't want to. Okay, I understand.
Until I ended up in court.
Okay,
so
yes, that's how usually we have a name for people like you. We call them litigants. What is that gentleman here to talk about?
This is Brent Butler. So he's going to talk about he witnessed interactions between me and Erlene. And at one point, I gave her a 3 months rent, which is, again, a verbal handshake.
Really?
Yes.
Did you give her 3 months rent?
I put her up in a hotel.
He wanted to use my apartment for a movie.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, did he also wait? Did he also pay for the hotel?
He paid for the hotel, which I get bit by bed bugs. So they had to upgrade me to another room.
Okay.
So it was more of a pain.
Bed bugs can happen in any hotel. Don't make that face. All right. So they used your apartment for how long?
A week.
A week, and you got a month free rent and bed bugs?
A month free. Well, the $495 that I was paying, that's what I didn't have to pay him for that. And then I had to pay for my own food. So, yeah, he gave me the hotel.
Where was the hotel?
The hotel was at the Sheraton.
Was it
right
on the
down
beach?
the street.
No, it was on the Expressway.
No, it's a convention center.
All right.
And by the way,
no. These are all things that don't matter. What matters here, I have to figure out two things. The last thing I do want to talk. What is he a witness to? That whole movie thing. Pull up a chair. All right. So let's talk about the late fees. All right. Is there an original lease that talked about late fees?
Yes.
Okay,
and the original lease was never changed from $1,000, if that matters at all.
I got it, but
it was amended.
I got it.
Okay. The original lease was? Man, you didn't even pay $1,000 for a year?
It was amended to 850.
When she lost her job, the verbal understanding.
Listen. He's like the nicest landlord ever.
But I paid my rent.
I understand you paid your rent. and I'm going to rule based on the law, not on whether he's a nice landlord. But I cannot believe what a nice landlord he is.
He is.
11 years of under market rent.
But he had an option. I could have left.
Yeah.
When I gave him that 30-day notice.
Well, if you had left, would that have been better for you?
It probably would have, because I wouldn't have been here.
So do you think that tenants get cut breaks by landlords when they fall behind in rent?
I think so. I think it's in the landlord's interest. They've already got them living there, and they can try, and if they lose a little money now, at least if they're not filing a lawsuit, it'll be even more expensive.
Fair point. That's pretty compelling. What do you say to that?
I don't think so. I think some people, it's kind of like this is your contract. You can't pay. You need to get out, and you're going to pay whatever.
Okay, heartless, not heartless. Who's the tiebreaker?
I've never met my landlord.
Interesting. Okay, I kind of get the subtext there, going inside the courtroom.
Let me just ask you, is there a late fee in the lease?
I highlighted it for you, Judge.
You highlighted a lot of stuff. Late fee of $50.
And then it goes to $100 if it's more than
all right,
10
and so
days
were
late.
there times when either, I guess you said no for you, but yes for the agency?
Because because they asked them for documents, like they needed the addendum to the lease. They sent it and they didn't sign. So then we had to get them to send it back, them to sign it. They never signed it. Then it was like, we need you to sign this. I have all the emails that
They did
Ocean
drive
Inc.
both of us nuts with administrative stuff.
This wasn't because of his fault. I mean, because he didn't sign. Then they sent the check. They didn't get the check.
How often did it arrive late?
There's no reason for this last payment to have been late. You can see the date on it.
Let me see the last
way
payment.
after she
Do you have
moved
any
out.
other records, or you're too chill to bring me any other records?
I do.
I have
Of their the tardiness.
I have the.
Let me see that.
If you want the original.
Yeah, let me see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you look at some of the timestamps on those payments, you'll see that there's some of them are mid-month, end of month. So sometimes it was the fault of the social services agency, and sometimes there was other stuff going on. But I estimate that about a third of the rent payments over the 11-year tenancy were late.
All right, we're done. Everybody stop talking. Here's what's going on, okay? First of all, you have certain requirements as a landlord, and the fact that you don't know them or the fact that you're very relaxed will mean that you're going to live a longer life, but it won't mean that you're legally correct. One of the things that you have a responsibility to do is return the security deposit or state why you aren't doing in writing within a certain amount of time, none of which you did. And you have to do that. It has to be in
Because we were
writing.
still talking about that check
No.
within the 30 days.
I'm talking to you. Let me do my thing.
Sorry.
All right, so when she leaves, within 30 days of the time she leaves, you go, regardless of whether the rent is paid up, not paid up, you got to take care of business. So you send, whether it's send her a letter and say, I don't have rent, or send her a letter and say, I'm keeping it for X, keeping it for Y, keeping it for Z. So next time, don't be so chill and be more responsible and do what you're supposed to do. It's easy. All you got to do is look up this limited statute that's only a few pages long that tells you what your responsibilities are and memorize it, okay? You don't really have to memorize it. You just have to highlight the parts that are important, okay? One of the important parts in your state is you live in a state with penalties. Your state decides that if you do not do what you're supposed to do, if you wrongfully withhold, that it's going to be double. Because at some point you say, look, I'll just offer you the $1,500. Here's a part that I hate. I hate that when you have a chance to profit on him, you do. Where when he had a chance to profit on you, he didn't. It has nothing to do with my ruling, but it still bothers me. It just kind of bothers me. So I understand why he was kind of hurt. Yes, it was in his best interest to have a good tenant, but he's the kind of guy who knew that and gave you that break for 11 years. So when the day comes finally when the guy says, look, I'll give you the $1,500, I just can't believe that you don't say, okay, let's just wrap this up. It's not like you were chasing him for a year. And about a guy who accepted late rent, because when your agency doesn't come up with rent, you're late rent, okay? And he could be saying, here's the late fee, 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 and he never did it. And yeah, there's like karma, a little karma going on here. So what am I going to do? I find first that, yeah, you're right, within the statute, that he wrongfully withheld it, because all wrongfully means, it doesn't mean like, wrongfully. It means, do you lay claim to something you don't have a right to lay claim to, and it's true. But I see that the late payments, the accumulation of late fees, eats up that other bonus $1,500, and I'm going to order you to return the $1,500 to her. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks. Thank you. And that takes care of your counterclaim, you know, right? Right. Okay.
All right, let's see what chill is like up close and personal here. Step on in, and you heard the judge's ruling. What's your reaction?
It's a great ruling. I think it's very fair.
Okay, do you feel taken advantage of by her? Are you still hurt by her?
She had to come all the way down here from Atlantic City, and I'm glad she's not leaving empty-handed.
You're a little too nice for a landlord. What are you doing in that business?
You know, I've been lucky with good tenants, and you know, I believe it makes sense to pay it forward. So,
all right, good for you. Head around the corner this way. What can you say? There he goes. Could you ask for a nicer landlord?
It was a great landlord. I mean, but it was time for me to get my security, and I didn't get my security.
And you got it, and then tried to hit him up for the double. Judge didn't really think that was good karma.
Yeah, but he should have been on his business and gave me the notice and let me know why he was holding it. That's all I asked for him to do.
Yeah, but all those late fees he let you slide on.
That wasn't because I sent my money in on time. Other agency, they might not have did that.
All right, Harvey.
Okay, this is an area of the law, Kurt, where the law really favors the tenant. That in every state, there are a bunch of things landlords have to do when it comes to returning security deposits. And if they're withholding any money, even a dime, they have to itemize exactly what it is that they're withholding and why, justify the price, and you have to get it to the tenant by letter within a certain number of days. And if you don't, then some states say you get double the security back, and some states even make it 3 times.